Hola, mi amigos. Mi nombre es David. And my never-ending quest to bring you the best flashes possible for the 24 MT09 moved on to the Yoshimura full exhaust. And I don't even have it unpacked yet. And I just want to log a complaint with Mr. Yoshimura. Yo, what the hell? This thing is packaged crazy. I thought the Graves peanuts were aggravating, but this is ridiculous. So I've been working on this like 15, 20 minutes. They use spray foam and it locks everything in. I had to cut through all that. And then they have these things. It took me like 5 minutes to get the canister out of the wrapping of plastic and tape. And now I'm going to work on the header. But yeah, not that, like, you're not going to buy the system because of this, but come on, man. Like, seriously, there's got to be a better way to protect it than doing this. So good news, hey, it's not damaged. Bad news, this is really aggravating. The exhaust is all open and unpacked. Let's get to the good stuff. So Yoshimura has this new coating. I'm not exactly sure how new it is, but they call it a Performance Works or new works finish. And it starts out with this color, and after a good heat cycle, it will turn like a bronze color. It really holds up well, looks good, and much improved quality of welds from the last one I got for my 21. I like that it's all one piece. Everything's welded together. You got these nice black flanges. Really should make it easy to put on the bike. Canister, we can tell by the size of the canister, it's going to be on the louder side, but we know that going in. Remember, this from the 21 really has a nice deep throaty tone. I remember it having one of the deeper tones for the bike. And it has a removable DB killer, of course, that we'll test in and out. Instructions are online. Cool, I like that. Came with an O2 extender. And here's the bracket that holds it to the bike. So yeah, let's get it going, get it mounted on, and give my impressions and get it all tuned up. But I always like Yoshimura systems, besides their packing. They always make a nice product. The Yoshimura is all bolted up. I'll take back a little my complaint to Mr. Yoshimura, because it did, honestly, for me, I think this is the easiest system I've bolted up so far. The header being all welded together made it way easier. All the clamps are on there, nothing with no springs, the only one spring on the muffler, no band clamps that, if you watch my channel, you know I hate so much. So I followed the procedure as far as wiping it down. I'm gonna do a 15-minute start, let it idle to get that temperature thing to sit in. I got all my data logging equipment. You can see my O2 sensor tape there to the side of the frame. And I'm gonna start the data logging and street tuning part of it. So stay tuned for some results. Man, do we have some awesome exhaust choices on this platform. So I guess it helps that a lot of them from the 21 through 23 fit. But another exhaust I really enjoyed, tuned really well, has great throttle response with it. And you can see on my thing, I've had my bike like a month and a half. I have almost 1,400 miles on it. That's pretty impressive considering the number of bikes that I have. And definitely not all just testing and development. I've done quite a bit of fun riding with the bike, including this weekend with the Yosh exhaust, and I really enjoyed it. So let's get to the numbers, the part we can quantify. Obviously, like I always say, I can't quantify the throttle improvements with how much smoother the bike is, how much better the throttle response is. But I can quantify dyno numbers, so let's take a look at them. This is where my 2024 MT09 started stock. So I really got an incredible jump on this one, just bolting on the exhaust compared to the stock bike. And I think there's a couple things going on here. For one, the exhaust is awesome. It really works well with the bike. But I also think my bike is starting to loosen up a little bit. Probably would, if I went back and threw the stock exhaust on, my baseline run would probably be a little higher. And this is with the stock filter and all the panels on the side. If you watch my intake testing video, but I still do have the foam removed from just underneath the front around the tank, and I'm sure that's helping a bit also. So not completely legit, but when I show what I get with my flash compared to with just the bolting butt, that's completely legit, because all of those things are still true with that. So saying all that, let's look at what I got. I got almost 7 horsepower and 3 foot-pounds, or 2.5 foot-pounds of torque. Much better power everywhere, right? Curve looks a lot better. But even with that really big jump, you're still leaving over 4 horsepower and another 2.5 foot-pounds of torque if you do not get my flash. And again, that doesn't include all of the improved rideability and just how much more fun the bike is to ride. That's still a pretty significant jump. And let's look at where from the stock bike to where we are now. And when we compare it to stock, it's pretty wow, isn't it, right? 11 horsepower, what's that come out to? Over 5 foot-pounds of torque, or 5 foot-pounds of torque. Just killing the curve. And again, like I said, I think removing the foam and the motor loosening up has a little bit to do with this. But comparing it from non-flash to flashed, it has nothing to do with that, because those things both are present currently and accounted for in both. And if you were paying attention in the video, you saw that I had sound decibel readings with the dB killer, the INS20K dB killer inserted, and with them out. So I have, of course, dyno runs with them both. And you can see it cost you about 2 horsepower, and the air fuel moved about 0.1. So we can run this. I'll set up all the flashes for dB killer out. They'll still run great with it in. Nothing to really worry about there. And as it showed, it made a little bit of a difference on the run, but it made quite a bit of difference at idle, and it was quite noticeable when I took a short ride with it in. It's definitely quieter. So not a real big loss in power there if you end up wanting to run with it in. And because of the small change in air fuel ratio, you can run the same flash with it in or out. So that's pretty nice. The last thing I wanted to compare was where I'm at now with my 24 versus where I was with this same setup on my 21. And we're really not that far behind it, right? Like, what's that? 7.7 horsepower and a couple foot-pounds of torque. So not too horrible. Catching back up to where the 21 was. Don't know that we'll ever get there. That smaller airbox isn't helping, but it's not as bad as it looked like from stock bike to stock bike. So thanks, guys, for watching. Remember that subscribe and like button for more motorcycle-related content. I do appreciate you all, and thanks for sticking around.